This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience. Episode 45, The Russian Concert.
Hey, you.
Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Rest of Everest video podcast. I'm John Miller. I hope all of you have been following the Everest climbing season this year. You know, there were so many summits this year. It just seemed like there just seemed to be more than usual, at least more at any single time. It seems like every day there would be about 100 summits for a while there. It was pretty incredible. Personally, all of my friends and all the people that I met on my trip have either summited or have gone home and are probably back to Kathmandu by now, most of them, which is good news. It's always a little bit more relaxing to know everyone's off the mountain. But back in 2003, people were still getting ready to summit, so it's a little bit different year. So let's go back to Everest in 2003 and catch back up with my Russian friends. Here we go. Alright, so this is the St. Petersburg camp by night. And these guys were, actually they were getting ready to say goodbye to one of their climbing partners, to Marina. And so they were taking some time to sing a bunch of Russian folk songs and basically serenade her and say goodbye. So this was a nice little party. That's Doktor Dima on the guitar right there. That's Kolya. Andre in the back there. Turns out that almost all of them could play guitar well. And there's Marina in the yellow there. She was getting very, very sick with pneumonia.
Не уходи, побудь со мной, ты мой каприз. Как часто вижу сон, мой удивительный сон, в котором осень нам танцует вальс-бастон. Опьянев от наслаждения, а года забыл. Старый дом, давно влюбленный, свою юность всеми стенами качался, окна отворив, и всем тем, кто в нем жил, он эту честь не дарил. А когда
in the background there, you could see a computer, and there's the computer, and that's the team leader, Anatoly. He was constantly taking these amazing photographs, and so he was constantly editing them and getting them ready to ship back to Russia over the internet. Alright, this man, now I cannot remember his name, and I really wish I could, because he was a very nice guy. He was actually not from the St. Petersburg team. There's several people in the tent right now that were from the Moscow team, which was across base camp, right by the end of the glacier. And he was, as memory serves, I remember hearing that he was like the #1 Microsoft salesperson in Russia. And he had all of these tiny little computer gadgets that were, what I would almost think, light years ahead of some of the stuff that we had back in the States, so it was always kind of funny. But he was quite a singer here. He knew just about every song.
Город нас тихо убивает, и если сердце остывает, снова уходим отогреться мы на мороз.
This song here made it into my film, so I know the melody well. I've heard it probably 100,000 times.
Мы покидаем теплый город, чтобы увидеть наши горы. И отдыхать теперь не скоро, но не беда. Пусть нелегко тебе придется, тундра так просто не сдается. Счастье нам трудное дается видеть порой. Через метель и ветер жгучий, сквозь неприветливые тучи, этот десяток круповских звезд над головой. Через метель и ветер жгучий, сквозь неприветливые тучи, этот десяток круповских звезд над головой. Нам говорят, куда идете, что вы как люди не живете, только о тундре и поете, а хочешь всерьез. Не объяснить сидящим дома, им это просто незнакомо. Снова уходим отогреться мы на мороз. Не объяснить сидящим дома, им это просто незнакомо. Сердцем уходим отогреться мы на мороз. Не объяснить сидящим рядом, им это в общем-то не надо. Сердцем уходим отогреться мы на мороз.
I'm watching this footage here, and I've just got this big smile on my face. Can't help but just watch it. This was such a nice evening.
Маевский турист. Полжизни прожито, не оглянуться можно нам, так что...
Kolya and Marina in the back there.
Спокойной оставалась голова.
Neither of them grabbed the guitar and played anything, but they sure sang along with every single song that was there. There's Tom right there with the beard, and then this is Vova.
Все идет, как водится, встречаются, расходятся, как маленькие пестрые миры. Далекие, но языкие миры. А нам грустить не хочется.
Folk songs obviously are a huge part of the Russian culture, and it was so cool to have so many talented guitar players in one tent at base camp. You could hear also the songs from a ways away, and people would pop in once in a while to just stand there and listen. Like some Sherpa would come over and just stand there and listen for a while, smile, wave, and then walk back out to get back to work, whatever they were doing. But this went on late into the night. You can hear the generator in the background.
Ох, если переворошить свое имущество,
There's Anatoly,
но можно
the team
вдоволь
leader.
посмеяться над собой. Ну что мы нажили, как мало нам отпущено, как мало все же нам отпущено.
Now the person playing now is another member of the Moscow team, and you can see over there, you can see that people were drinking a little bit too. And as the music turned to some different kinds of songs, definitely started to zone. There's Oleg in the front there, Tom in the back. There's Oleg. Now these are all members of the St Petersburg team.
Наши пальцы не размолоты, и наши горла до сих пор еще сильны. Вот только жаль, что наши женщины не молоды.
There's Andre falling asleep completely.
Все в порядке, мы не умерли бесславные. Наш свет горит еще живой в вселенской мгле. Мы в наших песнях не хрипим еще, и главное, мы вместе други одной земле.
It's amazing how people were able to keep their coughing to a minimum, at least during the songs. Hadn't thought of that before, thinking about it now. Alright, so there is Sasha is what I remember his name being. He was quite the passionate guitar player and singer.
Ворошить свое имущество, но можно вдоволь посмеяться над собой. Ну что мы нажили, как мало нам отпущено.
Spent a lot of time with him, but between you and me, not the nicest guy in the world. He actually got into a big fight with Dawa, our base camp manager, that I might talk a little bit about in the future if I have footage about it, but it was definitely, he was in the wrong on that fight. Anyway, so this is sort of some cool footage that I shot later that night, and you can see that it was pretty clear out and there wasn't too much wind, and I ended up, this is pretty grainy because it's pretty dark, but it gets a little bit brighter here. Okay, so I had my camera opened all the way up and I'm shooting basically some time lapse here, and if you look carefully you can see this is actually over the middle of the night, and you can see the stars turning in the sky as the earth revolves, and you can actually see the moon light, I think it was a full moon that night, glinting off of the glacial ice on Changse and then on Everest. That's an amazing shot. I'm so glad I took this. These are one of those things that just sort of turn out. You don't really realize what you've got until you look at it back home. So that was a very lucky shot that I got there. Go ahead and watch that again when you get a chance, and you can really see the stars turning in the sky above Everest. It was just a beautifully clear night that night. So, all right, next episode we are gonna head further in those steps towards Summit Day, and you know, there's still a bunch of different little things that need to be accomplished before people can head for the summit, but at this point the summit is only about 8 days away. So trust me, there will be more climbing footage. Thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for sticking with the podcast. I hope this has helped you to understand that Everest is not all guts and glory. There is a lot more to the experience than probably any of you have ever seen. And so I'm really, really fortunate to be able to share all of this with you and give you a real understanding that Everest can be boring, Everest can be sad, Everest can be happy, Everest can be full of music, and Everest can be full of beautiful culture too. It's not just all about ascenders and crampons. So thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next week. The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every week. If you enjoy watching and would like to show your support, then take a look at my website. Aside from having lots of additional blog entries from the expedition updated every week, there's this little donation button on every page. Now, many of you have pressed that button, and your generous contributions are helping to cover my hosting fees. If you haven't donated but would like to, then just contribute any amount. In return, I'll give you access to the video and audio dispatches I sent out while we were actually at Everest. It's pretty interesting stuff. Contribute $25 or more, and I'll even throw in an iPod-compatible version of the film Everest: The Other Side. That's the project the entire podcast here is based on. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.